This week, I called someone and I said to them, "Can I speak to you?" And the person said, "Yes, but nothing negative. I can't handle any more negative. If it's negative, let it wait for another time. If it's positive, we can talk." This week, Rabbi Alex said, it's the double parsha of Behar-Bechukosai. The parsha Bechukosai is quite negative. It's quite harsh. The parsha begins, in Bechukosai telechu, God says to the Jewish people, to every one of us, if you walk in the path of my laws, that's mitzvosai tishmeru, and you guard my commandments, v'asisem osam, and you observe them, my mitzvos, my commandments, then all kinds of blessings, everything good is going to happen. Nasati gishmechem be'itam, you'll have enough rain in the right time. Bishabta levetach, you'll be secure. Ba'artzachem, you'll be safe and have peace. V'nasati shalom ba'aretz, there'll be peace in the land of Israel. Everything will be good. But then the parsha, but that's just the first paragraph. Then the parsha continues. Hashem says, "V'im lo sishmuli," but if you do not listen to me, v'lo sasu es kol mitzvos eila, and you did not perform these commandments, then ve'izmir. And that's really the bulk of the parsha, of the threats, the klalos, what Hashem says will happen to us if we do not listen. And sadly, all of those things have come true. How are we supposed to make it with that kind of a bargain? How are we ever going to live up to that? So I want to focus on the first phrase, and I want to share something with you that I think is true, and it's an important attitude. And if we do pay attention to the parsha this week, this insight will be a very helpful point of view. Mitzvosai tishmeru, v'asisem osam, I understand what that means. To guard the commandments, to observe them, I understand what that means. Whether I can always do it is another thing, but I understand what it means. What is the first phrase? In Bechukosai telechu, if you walk in the path of my laws, God says. What does it mean to walk in the path of my laws? And how is that different from doing them, from observing them? So Rabbi Melech Biderman told the following story. You know, he lives in Bnei Brak in Israel. And it once happened that he was driving home to Bnei Brak. It was very late at night. And as he's driving, he sees on the side of the road a very elderly gentleman that he recognized walking along the side of the road. So Rabbi Biderman pulls over and he says to him, "Come into the car, I'll give you a ride home." And the man says, no. And Rabbi Biderman says, "Listen, it's late. We're quite far from Bnei Brak. You're going to be walking for who knows how long. Get in the car. You'll be home in 2 minutes. Why won't you take a ride?" And the man says, "The reason I'm here is because my doctor told me that I have to walk. I have to exercise. And that's why he didn't get in the car." But Rabbi Biderman explains that's really a very significant lesson about our life as Jews in general. Because that man, he says, he doesn't need to be at his destination. He needs to be walking towards his destination. It's not the arrival at the destination that is going to do him any good. Yes, of course, ultimately he does want to get home. But the purpose for which he is there is not to be at the destination, it's to be walking towards the destination. It's the effort going forward that helps, not reaching the destination. We need to keep the mitzvos. Hashem commanded us. The Torah is very clear. Es mitzvosai tishmeru v'asisim osam. God is telling us we have to keep his commandments. That's true. However, there is another part to the calculus. And the calculus also includes, and first includes, the first phrase. In Behar-Bechukosai telechu. Are we walking towards doing what Hashem says? Are we making an effort? Are we trying? Even before we look at, did we do it or did we not do it? Are we walking towards it? That is also what Hashem considers as he evaluates us. Fascinating that the same word, telechu, the root is the same root word as halacha. And it's not by accident. Halacha is the word that we use to mean Jewish law. But when we say, according to halacha, and required by halacha, and what is the halacha, and we're talking about what does Jewish law say about such a thing, but we are using a word that indicates walking. So there are a couple of different reasons why we use this word to refer to the general concept of Jewish law. One is that the laws accompany us wherever we're going. We walk through life with Jewish law. Wherever we are, whenever we are, Jewish life illuminates and enriches and informs how we act. Yes, that's correct. But another way to understand it is also true. Halacha teaches us it's a path. It's a journey. It's an effort. And even if we are not yet at the destination, but the journey towards that is part of the observance. Halacha is a way of life that looks at trying, even if we're not there yet, making an effort, even if we still make mistakes. Right now, just staying home and not yelling at anyone is an amazing group of mitzvos. That itself is quite challenging. Even if we're not keeping everything, even if we're not up to everything, but we can at least be up to trying and putting forth the effort. And that's the lesson we learn from the first three words of the parsha. Behar-Bechukosai telechu. If we're at least walking towards it, we're at least journeying towards it, we're putting in the effort. God also looks at that in his calculus of how he evaluates us. My friends, I want to wish everyone a very good Shabbos.